Asking for a raise is always fun. You spend weeks hyping yourself up, only to walk into your boss's office, ask about his wife, remember he's gay, then continue to make terrible small talk until you're told you're not gonna get that raise because the gaming company you work for blew last year's profits getting fucking Nickelback to the Christmas stuff party.
Really? Really?
Asking for a raise is even harder when you're a politician though. Because if there's one thing that people hate more than politicians, it's politicians asking for a raise.
Show me the money!
So you can kind of understand why the nationalist government tried to avoid all of this back in 2010. Remember 2010? That was the year one of our MPs finally woke up and realized Malta should maybe join the rest of the world and let divorce be a thing. And good thing he did. He made some people very happy. Jesus, a bit less so, according to this billboard. Though, to be fair, you can't really tell if that look is Jesus being sad or him judging Marley's dance moves. A lot of things have changed since then. We've certainly upped our billboard game. And Jeffrey Policino Orlando, well, he's transformed into the worst victim of the 10-year challenge in history. You know what hasn't changed though? The amount we pay our politicians. And that's starting to become a problem that affects us all. But before we delve into the reasons why, let's remember what actually happened back in 2010. That was when the government of the day gave itself a secret pay rise by allowing ministers to keep their MP honoraria over and above their ministerial salaries. The move gave each member of the least popular cabinet in history an extra €500 per week, enough to fund at least 3 minibar raids in Dubai per month. And that was right in the midst of a global recession, which hit Malta's electricity prices harder than Conrad Mizzi hits a street party. Obviously, shit hit the fan, to the point that the government was forced to take back the decision and ministers had to refund the money. Back when he was still opposition leader and made some very poor but very, very relatable facial hair decisions, Joseph Muscat knew that this was a scandal worth capitalizing on. But much like his goatee, that decision still haunts him today. And it's probably about time that we revisit the whole thing. Because 10 years later, despite Malta's economic progress, despite the rising cost of living, despite it now costing €1,000 a month to rent a one-bedroom under a flyover next door to a brothel and to share it with 17 other people and a horse, ministers are still being paid the exact same amount as 10 years ago. And that's €40,000 a year. Now, to us common mortals, that might not seem like a terrible income. If you have a small family and live a modest life, you could make ends meet. Especially if your wife makes €13,000 a month and you can just deposit €92 a day into your secret Panama account. As one does, for family purposes. But it's definitely not an attractive salary. And it's not what you'd expect to pay the people to run your country. It's not nearly enough to sacrifice your privacy, and it's probably not enough to make you steer clear of favors or corruption. And in some cases, it's actually not survivable. Take opposition leader Adrian Delia, who has 5 kids. He needs to pay at least €2,750 per month in child maintenance, apart from school fees, health bills, and private lessons. If he didn't have a supplementary income from the sale of shares of his former company, he would have had to quit politics faster than Marlene Farrugia can switch political parties. And regardless of whether you like Delia or not, it's simply not right that our opposition leader ends up in a situation where he can't make ends meet. Now sure, you could say it's Adrian Delia's fault for having had so many kids, he could be the storyline of a Durex advert.
How's that for a view?
It actually looks like him. But whatever the case, these conditions are crazy. As things stand, to get into politics, you've either got to be a missionary, a thief, or just plain mad. And if you don't believe me, just ask Joseph Muscat, who literally said that actual phrase back in 2002. When you really think about it, you start to realize that there is a serious problem here. Just ask the 3 people who were asked to really think about it. In 2013, as promised, Joseph Muscat set up a committee to analyze the salaries of politicians and to come up with proposals for how they should be updated. The commission was made up of the Ombudsman, the Auditor General, and the Chief Electoral Commissioner, 3 upstanding individuals trusted by the entire political spectrum to do a good job. To improve standards and keep salaries competitive, the Commission said that the salaries of ministers, parliamentary secretaries, and the Prime Minister should practically double. And in the case of our MPs, who are proportionately the lowest paid in Europe, Their salaries should triple. That's not surprising, considering they currently only make €21,000 a year. And an equally worrying thing is that they are part-timers. You wouldn't trust a surgeon, a plumber, or even a hairstylist if they were part-time. So why are we treating politicians as some second-hand occupation that pays shit and is done part-time? And what's even worse is that instead of getting paid more, MPs are now earning less than 10 years ago, because now they're fined if they miss Parliament. And you can see that MPs really need this cash, because some went from having the lowest attendance to not missing a single session. And in the meantime, government is busy handing out other odd jobs and consultancies to its own MPs to make up for the shortfall. Like Edward Zammit-Lewis and Deborah Schembri, who together earned €150,000 in direct orders. So we pay our MPs shit, but then supplement their income through direct orders and cushy appointments. And we get pissed off when they don't do a good job of being politicians. The truth is, the government has asked for advice on this issue, but it's now ignoring that advice and setting a very dangerous precedent. If we're not ready to update our salaries even when the government is at an all-time high, our economy is doing better than ever, our GDP growth is the highest in Europe, and a panel of experts are asking us to, when the hell are we going to do it? Now sure, it was ridiculous of the Nationalist Party to give a salary hike during a recession behind our backs and without any consultation. But now, 10 years later, isn't it about time that we take a more level-headed approach? Shouldn't we pay our politicians enough to attract the right talent? Shouldn't we pay them enough for us to hold them to account when they fuck up? Isn't it weird that we feel like they're doing us a favor by being there, and that we almost pity them? The truth is, politicians should be paid so much that people, the right people, are A, fighting to get those jobs, and B, making damn sure they're doing a great job without having to make any deals on the side. If our politicians got the salaries they deserved, we wouldn't still be discussing 17 Black, Panama Papers, or whether a politician accused of domestic violence should stay put. Our appetite for bullshit would be so fucking low that we'd expect MPs to resign for much, much less. That might be one reason why the government, which has found lots of creative ways of keeping its own team happy, is also keeping salaries low. Low salaries also decrease the competition because no one wants the job. But that's exactly why it's on us to push for salaries to be raised, so that our expectations can be raised as well. And maybe it'll also help us attract more women to Parliament. I don't think it's a coincidence that the smartest ex is hogging all of the MEP positions and avoiding Maltese Parliament like the plague. Women know. And the best bit is this. Guess what it would take for us to pay politicians the very decent amount of money that the Salary Committee had suggested? It's just 52 cents per month from each of us. 52 cents each to take a shot at raising the quality of our politicians from this.
Jiena tlabtek tiskuża ruħek mhux tidħol tagħmel diskors. Tista' toħroġ.
Hawnhekk dak kollu li qegħdin tgħidu, Sur President, huwa bullshit.
To this.
U għalhekk teħtieġ azzjoni immedjata. Illum il-ġurnata soluzzjonijiet jeżistu.
Refugees are people running away from war, from death. Prime ministers simply cannot afford to look away.
We clearly feel very strongly about this, and so should you. So to help persuade the government to actually give us some decent politicians, here's a little ad we've created.
Malta's politicians need your help. They are working day and night for you and me, but they are not making ends meet. And they are not doing a very good job either. Take Christian, who had to live with a friend for several months when his wife kicked him out. Or Edward, who has had to supplement his pitiful politician's salary with legal work in the most horrid conditions. With just 52 cents a month, you too can make a difference to their lives. Your contribution will ensure that they don't have to quit politics when they have their next child. It will also ensure that they can afford to receive safe, clean, uninterrupted internet to Netflix and chill every weekend. And if after that they still have no chill, you'll be able to get rid of them without any guilt at all. With just 52 cents a month, you can make a difference. Please, call 0800 TMZDA today and begin the journey towards making their, but ultimately also your, lives better. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Kaxxaturi. I've been Luca Amato, and this is Love in Malta's monthly takedown of topics we feel strongly about. If you enjoyed it, please share the video with the hashtag #TakeMyMoney. See you next month.